those that have died, they're not going to comically wake up and say, oh, now systems are strengthened, let's go and have some babies again, let's rise up from the dead and come back. No, they're dead. And if that happens to be you or me, I'm not sure we will find it fair that a scientist tells us that, oh, we need to strengthen systems first, because and system strengthening takes time and all that. So impact must be at the center, it must be at the end, it must be at the beginning, because it is urgent. It doesn't have to be an outbreak, it doesn't have to be a pandemic, it doesn't have to be an emergency. As a matter of fact, the entire indices in most of our countries within LMIC should be seen as an emergency. Because if they are life-threatening, if they take lives that cannot be recovered when we eventually succeed to strengthen systems, then that becomes an urgent issue. Now, does that mean I am saying that the rigor and the process and the meticulousness of strengthening systems is not important? No. What I'm saying, because at the end of the day, we can drive towards saving that woman's life now, but we can save more lives of that woman if we do things, if we take the procedure of strengthening systems. So there has to be a nexus between the urgency of saving lives and the need to sustain or perpetuate or scale life-saving interventions. What does that mean? It means that while we are very clear on the impact we want to achieve, and I don't think it's debated, we all know what we're trying to achieve. We want to save lives of women, we want to save lives of children, we want to save lives of elderly, we want to save people's lives by way of mental health, we want to deal with NCDs. We know is one of the most life-threatening disease burdens in Africa right now. We know that already. What I think we need to revisit is the definition of system strengthening. How pragmatic can we be and agile in system strengthening? So I put a question to you. When we think about sustainability, many times we're leaning towards strengthening. We're believing that sustainability means government is capable of running this with tax collected, with government revenues, and they can take it over, especially when we're looking at it from the financial side. The question really is, from our evidence, from the few decades we have tried to help governments to become sustainable in a sense, have we been successful? If we haven't, why do we continue to think that government is still the only or the best pathway to sustaining these interventions? Are there other players that we need to bring in a lot more to be more pragmatic in all of this? Are we boxing ourselves with certain theories, that tell us that this is the way it should work, when evidence upon evidence, trials upon trials have showed us that it just doesn't work that way? Are we giving the government more roles than it is capable of taking? Are there more roles, for instance, that the private sector can play in order to make us more agile, pragmatic, and actually more sustainable? These are questions we need to start asking if we must have what one of my friends have called sustainable impact, which I think that's really where we want to get to. That's really where we want to be. But that means while we understand the definition of impact, we have to redefine what sustainability means in terms of in-execution. We know what that means essentially in terms of the what. The how is what we have to ask. Are all the players, are they playing the right role? Or everyone is playing the role that their power can grab, or that their interest can pollute? So how are we defining and strengthening systems? Do we need to really tear that box open and throw every option and say there is no option that is stupid? Nothing, even if it has not been found in a textbook or not taught at all, it can be considered. Should we start doing that so that we should save the life of this woman and this child now, but we can be pragmatic enough such that we can also say in the next 5 years we have continued to perpetuate that life-saving intervention, and people's lives still continue to be saved, and we are not waiting to strengthen systems before people's lives are saved, because they are still going to die anyways, and one life saved is still very, very important. That's my point. I don't know if I've made sense. Let me know what you think. Thank you.